I have a treat to end your week. 3 matches live, Manchester United, Tottenham, Liverpool. Lots of action today. Let's run the intro and get straight into things. Yes, folks, how is it going? And a warm welcome back. It is just before Christmas in game, and I've got a present for you all. As I already said today, we're doing 3 matches live, 3 Premier League games. Do well in these. We might be securing the title before January. Okay, you know what? That might be a tiny bit hyperbolic, but with us 4 points clear, certainly a result over Tottenham could be massive for our season. You can see here, in terms of assists, Zajaria and Chris Barrett are leading the way. In terms of goals scored, well, we don't actually have one of the top goal scorers, but we do have Andy White and Banks in the Media Dream 11, so that's quite cool. And if you were worried that the lack of any top goal scorers because we're not scoring goals, don't worry, we are. But to be honest, over the last 2 months, the main kind of big thing really has been our defence and how good it's been, albeit in the last couple of game weeks, it has somewhat fallen apart. Now, of course, last episode we did take on Real Madrid and Chelsea, and we beat them both. Following on from that, wins against Crystal Palace and Coventry in the EFL Cup followed. In this game against Coventry, admittedly playing a rotated team, we did rely on a 90th minute goal. Sean Steele in behind, tucked it away, cheeky little dink. Not the first time and not the last time. A last minute goal has secured us some points in this recent run of games. We managed to beat Atletico Madrid 2-0, and following on from that against Blackburn, another not-so-convincing result. Joe McHugh to the rescue with an 87th minute winner. As good as we've been in the league, had it not been for some late heroics from various different players, Tottenham probably would be ahead of us. This result here was a really, really pleasing one. A 3-0 win against Arsenal. The only down note, Bernard Brennan did pick up an injury in it. Good news, though, he is back already to full fitness. And from there, we got 2 more clean sheets to make it 5 in a row. The first against Sevilla, Sean Steele, 90th minute goal. Like I said, these last minute goals have been massive, and then a 3-0 win against Leeds was great. After that, away from home, we took on Manchester City, a 3-1 win in this one. Ajaria getting a lot of assists. I did wonder, with us ditching the wing-backs and going back to more conventional full-backs, would it maybe signal a decrease in output from our wing-backs? That really hasn't been the case, at least in the case of Ajaria. 9 assists in the Premier League. In this game, you can see Lumo drew it level for Man City. I got shouty at the break, and our rock and roll pressing style of football worked wonders here as Banks picked up the ball at Shadow Striker, smashed it in. He has been a real revelation this year. We spent the big bucks on him. Obviously, start of the season, first 2 games was a little bit worrying. Since then, though, we've been in some top form, and Lloyd Weston put the cherry on top of the cake in this one. After that, back-to-back clean sheets and wins against Norwich and Rangers followed. We did, however, lose our winning run, which was a club record winning run in this game here against Aston Villa. A 91st minute winner for Alex Phillips for them was the dagger. And yeah, I was sad. Although, to be honest, this was one of the worst performances we've had all year. We definitely didn't deserve to win this one. From there, a weird result, EFL Cup quarter-final. It looks like an absolute banger because it was 4-3 against Manchester United. That is until you realise that with 10 minutes to go, we were actually 4-0 up in this game. We nearly completely bottled it. In fact, Henderson decided just to troll me a little bit with a 94th minute own goal for their third. Good news, though, we did hold on for the win. And most recently, against West Ham in their own ground, we did manage to salvage a point. Another game where we weren't necessarily at our best. We came back from behind twice in this one. Again, Sean Steele with a late goal for us. He only has 3 in the Premier League, but the goals he's been getting for us have been crucial. And I'll tell you what, when you look at his development, look how good this man is now. He is so good. Now, in terms of Champions League form, we've been on a good run. Of course, we beat Sevilla, we beat Atletico Madrid, we've beaten Rangers very recently, and as a result of those, we do find ourselves in 3rd place. Not secured a top 8 finish yet, and to be fair, it's far from a done deal, but we do look very good, and we are guaranteed now a spot in the knockouts. In the Carabao Cup, we have been drawn against Newcastle. Of all the different domestic competitions, I'd argue that this is the lowest on my list of priorities. The semi-final games are coming up in January. Not sure if I'm going to do them in a video just yet. And when I've already shown the Premier League title, we've lost 1 game in our opening 16. We've been on a really good run of form. Bit of a shame that we did lose that game to Aston Villa. Tottenham, though, equally in good form. They've only lost 1 of their first 16. 4 points behind us. That second game today is going to be huge against them. Anyway, I'm fully aware. Lots of matches to play today. Let's get into the first. Away against Manchester United. Rarely an easy game, this one. The good news, I suppose, if I want to find good news, is we have a very strong team at our disposal. I guess down news, you can see here Chris Barrett coming back from injury. I could put him on the bench, if I wanted to. You know what? I am going to put him on the bench as he comes back from injury. Sheldon has also been suffering from injury lately. He probably wouldn't be a starter anyway. Again, another player who's hurt, not injured. I could play him if I wanted to, but I don't necessarily want to risk it. I kind of mentioned Sean Steele's recent run of form. I have enough faith to stick him in at striker. In some other news, you might have noticed Kobe Mainu is going to be playing against his former club here. Corby Hatswell, who, let's be honest, has been an outstanding player ever since we picked him up, is out for 2 to 4 weeks. So he's going to miss all the games, I think, today, which is a massive miss for us. The 22-year-old has become a mainstay of the England national team. He is such a good defensive midfielder. We are weaker without him. But you know what? Even with a slightly weakened team, I feel like we have enough to beat Manchester United here. We beat them, as you saw, 4-3 in the EFL Cup a few weeks ago. That was also with a semi-rotated team. We're a lot more full strength for this one. Hopefully that's going to be represented on the scoreline. I feel like we could be winning this. We should be winning this. They're not right at the top of the table, United. I think they're like 5th or 6th. Quiet opening 15 minutes in this game. Absolutely nothing happening either way. If you'd kind of come back a couple of games sooner before we lost against Villa and drew against West Ham, I would have argued that in today's games, draws would probably be acceptable. Given the recent downturn in form, I want to get back to winning ways. I want a little bit of momentum off the back of this game going into the Tottenham one, which is, I think, the most difficult of the games we've got today, even if it is at home. Sadly, players haven't got the memo here. We're already approaching halftime. It's still 0-0, but maybe a late twist, a late chance now. Finally, we have a bit of action on the pitch, and it's United trying to play the ball out for the back. Holmes to Benjamin, cutting inside, actually finding a lot of space in behind Flood. Yeremy Pino, cutting inside, pulls the trigger, and I can't help but feel like Football Manager was just desperate to show me a highlight of some kind there. That was a wasteful effort that goes off target. At halftime, I am going to tell the players I'm far from pleased. I mean, I'm aware that I've got the likes of Barrett on the bench. At what point do I think about subbing him on? It's weighing in the back of my mind right now. Okay, you know what? 10 minutes into this second half, I've not made any changes just yet. Should nothing come of this opportunity, maybe we will change things up. Should they score, I'll definitely change things up. It's Pino bringing the ball forward again, pulls it back to Holmes. Shot hits the side netting, and I've seen enough. Andy White's having a pretty poor game today. You know what? I'm going to bring in Chris Barrett out on the left-hand side. Elsewhere, I'm going to bring in Akena for Steele. I feel like Akena is a player who I want to get more out of. He's struggled with injuries. He's been a bit in and out of the team. His recent form hasn't been the best. I did recently kind of have a chat and criticise his form. This would be the perfect kind of game for him to come on, have an impact, really kickstart his Wanderers career. Lloyd Weston out on the far side is going to lay it inside to Ashley Phillips. The centre-back gets it to Kobe Mainu. Dorrington now with the ball for us, the centre-back. Very capable with the ball at his feet. Finds it to the inside wing-back. Barrett, Akena scores. Is he on? Is he on? I think he's off. You can tell by my subdued celebration, I'm not so convinced by this one. The build-up play, I have to say, was really, really delightful. It looked offside. Is it offside? It's not offside. Okay, I'm sorry, Akena. I've robbed him of a moment. What happened here? Dorrington to Lloyd Weston. The inverted wing-back curtain inside. Flood. What a ball that is. Barrett squares it. I guess Akena was just in line with the ball. I said this could be the game to kickstart his career. The two subs have linked up and I look like a genius. How close was this? Oh, okay. You know what? The angle was deceptive, wasn't it? Right. Praise the players. We've got our noses ahead, somewhat against the run of play in the second half. United ratcheting up the pressure. Anton makes a save. I feel like I want to change stuff here. Dorrington is on a yellow card. That is always a little bit scary. You know what? Brian Henderson, I have faith in you. And Branthwaite, I also have faith in you. I feel like this is a testament to the strength at the back we've got now. I'm going to make a double change and take off a couple of the underperforming players at the back. Get some fresh legs in there, maybe to try and deal with the Manchester United attacking subs. Rasmus Højlund is now on the pitch for them. Ball going to be whipped in near post here. Henderson immediately called into action. Barrett heads it away. And I feel like we've weathered this storm, or have we? Please don't tell me I've jinxed it. Barrett clears it once, clears it twice. Football Manager, end the highlight. Why are we doing this to me? Holmes is bringing it forward on the far side. Akena working back well. And I have to imagine that is that. Or is it? I mean, imagine if we go up the other end and score. Don't stop the highlight, Football Manager. Brennan, Branthwaite is left-footed, but he has an okay right foot. And also, Phillips. Is Phillips left-footed? Phillips is in left foot. There's no logic behind my centre-back positioning. I'm going to fix that now. Okay, Branthwaite should be going to left centre-back here. Phillips going to go to right centre-back. Someone would have been really upset if I'd conceded having not spotted that. Apologies, I got it wrong. Anyway, you know what? Good news. We are still a goal up in this game. Bad news. There is still time remaining. 8 minutes left, and that is a poor position to give up possession. Højlund to Pino, who's already looked dangerous once. He puts it in for Barcola, who tucks it away and makes it 1-1. And I don't want to look at Brian Henderson at right back, or even Phillips, who's now playing right centre-back. I feel like one of them should be doing better. Maybe if I hadn't swapped Branthwaite and Phillips around, maybe Branthwaite picks up the man here. Is that too much of a conspiracy to suggest? Perhaps I'm going to go with it. I mean, I knew Old Trafford was going to be a tough place to come. A draw is not a disastrous result, but we've got lots of tough games today. I was hoping we could grind out some wins. We're not going to do it in this one. To be fair, we scored with our one shot on target. Just an incapability to put the ball in the back of the net, the issue today. United were the better team in the second half of the second half. Regardless, I mean, it's a point. If Tottenham drop points, it looks like a great result. Oh my word. Tottenham did drop points. Shout out to Arsenal. We extend our gap to 5 points. This is great news. And well, in just 5 days' time, we have an opportunity to extend that gap to 8 points. We are going to be taking on Tottenham at home. I want to believe that we can get one over on this team. They beat us on penalties in the Community Shield. I want revenge. Do not go anywhere. Who doesn't love a little bit of Monday football? It's Boxing Day in game. Tottenham at home. Tottenham, they have just been a pain in the arse in this save game. They were on a really good run of form prior to their defeat against Arsenal. You can see here they'd won their previous 6 games in a row with clean sheets in all of them. This game today is going to be hard. Worth noting, next game week as we take on Liverpool, they're taking on Man City, so a win here could really derail their season. In terms of the team news for us, Barrett is back in the starting 11, which I think is a really big return. Kobe Mainoo is going to continue to play as our Segundo Volante with the injury to Hatswell. The rest of the team, though, is pretty much full strength. Look at the green links slowly forming between our players in this new shape. It looks good. Hopefully the performance on the pitch looks just as good. Of course, Tottenham at this point, rather familiar enemy. We lost to them in the Community Shield on penalties at the start of the year. We lost to them in the Champions League quarterfinals last year. I'd love to get one over on them on the league. If we win here, we go 8 points ahead of them, which would be absolutely massive. I'm expecting them to be a tough defensive nut to crack. I mean, they've conceded 1 goal in their last 7. We've been pretty good defensively until kind of the last month or so. We had a period where we kept a number of clean sheets in a row. I'd like to think that we can keep that going here, although we are caught out of position completely, and Caleb Anson has come to the rescue. I think it was Benito Lloyd-Weston, the inverted wing-back, caught out of position when we turned over the ball. We've still got the corner to deal with. I'll tell you what, that was not far wide. Early encouragement to the players. I need some green, happy, smiley faces. You're drawing a game and it's still 0-0 after kind of 10-15 minutes. Always shout encourage. I mean, you get a green, happy, smiley face reaction. Whether or not that actually influences the match engine that much, I'll let you guys decide. But the green smiley faces, they make me feel warm and fuzzy inside. Dorrington, Mainoo bringing it forward. Lays it wide to Ajaria. Captain fantastic. Vincent reports he could be heading to Saudi Arabia. I'd like to deny them because I need him putting balls like that in the box to Jonathan Banks. There is a VAR check here. I think Banks is onside. I'm pretty confident here he is onside. Is the goal going to be given? It is indeed. Lovely little build-up play, all really on Ajaria. He picks at the ball here. He charges forward. Players queued up in the middle, and Johnny Banks turns up in the right place at the right time to give us the lead. Half an hour played here, goal to the good. Not a great deal of chances for either team, but we've taken the one chance that came our way. And this does feel like the kind of game where just being clinical is going to be the name of the game. Andy White trying to find Barrett, headed back to the goalkeeper in Kovar there. Tottenham, they've had the better chances in this game in terms of quantity. Of course, we've found the back of the net. They've had more of the ball as well. But so far, we look okay. Udogie for them is going to step up with the ball here and give it to Bautista, who's a very talented regen winger. Erdale in the middle now, bringing it forward. Cordero has a little bit of space to run into. Could pull the trigger, does pull the trigger. Feel like that's one of the questionable Football Manager highlights, but you know what? Anson did what he needed to do. Just a couple of minutes left of this first half. It's been an even, cagey game. We've taken that one opportunity at the break. It's a good performance. I'm going to tell the players you're capable of even better, because as much as I'm happy with that, I do feel like we could offer a little bit more. Chris Barrett still coming back from injury, not having the greatest game here. Going to keep him on the pitch at least for a little bit longer. There's definitely a few players I'm looking at thinking, want to see more from you in the second half. Tottenham yet to have a shot in this second half. I feel like there's going to come a point where they've got to go for it. Maybe that time is going to come now because they've got to throw in on the near side. Inside to Larsson. Edge the box, shoots. Oh my word. Hugo Larsson with a scintillating finessed finish into the side of the net. I was thinking to myself, do I want to make changes on the hour mark? And I thought, you know what? I'm going to give it 5 more minutes. Maybe I shouldn't have. Larsson, the number 8, wraps his foot around it. Anson at full stretch is never getting there. That goal has come a little bit against a run of play. I'm going to bring in some fresh legs here. Sean Steele on Newcombe. Elsewhere, I'm going to bring in a Kenner to play on the left-hand side. Of course, we've been training him to play there. Because of the injuries, he's not had much of a chance to play there. I guess the alternative would be to bring in Sheldon on the left-hand side. Although when you look at Sheldon's performances as a left attacking midfielder, it's not exactly inspiring. Banks' legs are looking a little worse for wear, but I feel like he's the kind of player where you've just got to keep him on. I'm going to bring in Sheldon as well. We're going to go for a new trio around Banks. Blood's not having the greatest game in the midfield either. You know what? I'm going to bring in Mick Hugh as well. I'm looking at the defender ratings, but I feel like you can put a bit too much stock in them at times. I'm going to make the changes in the final third and the midfield. I want to try and reinvigorate us going forward, but while we might have some defensive stuff to concern ourselves with, because there is a corner here that we've half dealt with. The ball comes to Larsson. Not again. Surely not. I was expecting him to wrap his foot around it again. Larsson, the goal scorer, half dispossessed by Kenner, but keeps the ball alive. The number 8 skips past our man. Bautista whips it in. Phillips heads it away as far as Ugardo. Kenner makes an unconventional tackle, but it's going to set Shawnee Steele free. He's bringing it forward. He's dispossessed, but Kenner is there bringing it forward. Pacey players on off the bench, looking now to help us enact a counter-attack. Jaria already has an assist. Could he provide another? He puts it in. Sean Steele scores. Did their goalkeeper just header that? I feel like Football Manager just picked an awful animation for the moment. I'm pretty sure their goalkeeper just headed it to Sean Steele. I've got lots of questions. There may be an inquest into match fixing. I mean, I've seen some awful animation selection by the match engine. I've never seen that before. I'm not going to complain, though. It's 2-1. Tottenham here now have gone to a 4-2-4. They are going for this game. And with that in mind, I do want to just keep things secure if we can. I'm going to switch our fullbacks to just fullback on defend. I feel like Banks might have a little bit of space that he can look to exploit. I do already have the team instructions set up, so our inside forwards here will specifically mark the fullbacks going forward. So if they are looking for overlaps there, we should be able to deal with it. Instead of trying to focus the play in the wider areas now, though, I think it's a good chance to try and focus the play through the middle. Their 2-man midfield might be exploitable. When you look at the match momentum, we definitely deserve what we've got from this game so far. We deserve to be ahead. Tottenham have had limited opportunities, and yet, well, they've got a chance here. Cordero, Batera, Dorrington heads it away. Tottenham are a team that have just been a pain in the arse over recent years. They seem to grind out results against us against the run of play consistently. But for Narty's header going just over, they nearly were on course to do it again. Right, I'm going to praise the players here. We're 2-1 to the good. There's 5 minutes left. Might be an opportunity here. Dorrington. He was offside anyway. It never would have counted. It was definitely a centre-back's finish there. There's 5 minutes of added time. Can we see out this game and finally get a result over Tottenham? You bet your bottom dollar we can. Can we? I've jumped the gun there too soon. There was an extra minute added. We've got the result now. It's 2-1. That is a big result. Ajaria, 2 assists to his name. Man of the match. The subs had the desired impact as well. Sean Steele with the all-important goal. Not for the first time this year. He's come up clutch. And with that result there, Newcastle winning sees them now go ahead of Tottenham all of a sudden. I mean, the good news is now that we have this big gap over Newcastle behind us. 7 points clear. The not so good news is our next game is at Anfield. Never an easy place to go. That game's in 3 days. I'm going to rest up the players. Do not go anywhere. Let me rest them up. I can't talk and play the game, which is an issue when you do it for a job. Future Jack, take it away. Save me. Okay, folks, third and final game today. Newcastle are taking on Brentford. Probably expect them to win that one there. If Tottenham could slip up against Man City, that would be very, very nice. Arsenal now, by the way, are slowly emerging as a potential threat. They're in 4th. As for Liverpool, they are having a stinky season. A defeat against us here could see them drop down to 8th. Did rest up the players between games. Jonathan Banks is the only player not quite at full fitness. He's been playing a lot of football for us, but when he's a player of this kind of quality, I've just got to play him in as many games as possible. So our team for this trip to Anfield is unchanged. Liverpool are still playing their narrow kind of 4-2-2-2. They're playing with okay, it's not the Odegaard. They're playing with a Odegaard at striker. That's an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, if he's leading the line, I can see why they're struggling a little bit. I am going to increase our playing width here just to try and exploit those wider areas. I think that is maybe an area where we could have some success here. Yeah, Liverpool playing this narrow shape that they played for many years. I don't necessarily think it's the best shape to play in the Football Manager match engine. Saying all of that, of course, if they now gone to beat us, I now look like an idiot. So I've really set myself up for failure. Okay, Barrett's over a corner, whipping it to the back post. Dorrington was under it, so was Phillips. It goes off target. It's the first real highlight of the game. We've only had 3 shots. They've had 4. They're edging out possession. But at least through the first half an hour, we definitely don't look out of our depth, which I suppose is a good sign because I feel like we do grow into these kind of games. And well, speaking of which, maybe we can grow into it here. Kobe Mainoo, he's been in the starting 11 for the last 2 games. He's been quiet in both of them. He's turned up in this one and he's put it on a plate for Chris Barrett. Chris Barrett swept all the Premier League individual awards you might remember last year. Truthfully, this year he has been a little bit quieter, although I feel like it was always going to be difficult for him to match that level of performance. But he's popped up with a nice goal there. Okay, well, we've got our noses ahead, but now we have to make sure we keep ahead. Mainoo to Dorrington. Of course, we surrendered a lead to United. We surrendered a lead as well to Tottenham. Admittedly, we were able then to come back and get the win. Certainly don't want to see a repeat of that in this game here. We want to try and get a 2-goal margin, something that we've been unable to do in the previous couple of games. Liverpool with the ball at the back here, looking to play it out from the back to Pavlovic now at left centre-back. They're not in a hurry, are they, Liverpool, here, to play the ball out? They are really inviting a press. They are inviting some pressure onto themselves. They have, however, played through our initial press, and now it's Mara playing it inside. Dorrington fails his tackle. Odegaard, who I question, shoots. And I think Anson tipped that over. That was a ridiculous save. We do still have a corner to deal with, mind you. Szoboszlai going to whip it in, back post, half one away. Mara's still there. We do get away at the second time of asking. And you know what? I'd be quite grateful for half-time now to come in this game. We're a goal to the good, and we are still a goal to the good after 45. Things are going well, but I know you're capable of even better. Exact same team talk I gave last game. Looking at Andy White, who again is having a bit of a quiet game by his own standards. Liverpool have actually changed their shape now to play the wider attacking mid setup. So with that in mind, I am going to revert back our attacking width, and I'm also going to tell the players just to focus the play through the middle that little bit more here. I feel like we can win that midfield battle with our 2 defensive mids and the centre attacking mid. We've got a free kick here just inside Liverpool's half. There's a lot of build-up to this. Is there going to be the end product to follow? Ball whipped in, headed down to Barrett. He nods it wide. And I'll tell you what, he was onside. It would have counted if it had got in. Okay, I think it's time for some subs in this game. Akena, on you come. Do I want to take off Brennan? I kind of do. I feel like what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to bring in Sean Steele, move Barrett to the left, play Akena on the right where he can play. Banks has had a poor game by his own standards, but for now, I'm going to leave him on. I was thinking about leaving it there. You know what? Lloyd Weston's not having a good game. Let's bring in Gavin Wallace as well. Just for a bit more in the way of fresh legs in this game. We're approaching the hour mark. So far, it's been a controlling performance. It's not like Liverpool have been creating a load and we've been clinging on. But well, we've just been unable to kill off games, it feels like, in this recent run of fixtures. I'd love to find a second goal. I'd love to see it here before the subs have even happened. That would be really nice, Football Manager. Lloyd Weston dinks it. Brennan's there. He's dispossessed. Liverpool on the back foot. Right, let's praise the players because we are a goal up away from home here at Anfield. I feel like that in itself is a good sign. Wallace now on off the bench is hopefully going to be able to put a bit more creativity into our team here as we cut inside. It's Barrett on his weaker foot. Forces a save out the keeper. And having had that shot saved, Barrett is now going to be the man over this corner on the near side. Whipping it in, near post, headed down. Diego Rodrigo gets it away. And with 20 minutes left here, this still feels like a game where there's a goal in it. And as much as I want to believe that goal will come for us as we build up pressure, I can't really disregard the fact Liverpool have been creating stuff in this game. Dorrington wins his header nicely. Flood to Phillips. A second goal, I desperately need it at this point. I feel like there is another goal coming. Dorrington, could you inspire it? Akena, Steele, wide to Ajaria. Go down the line again. Akena's there. What a sensational ball that could be. Oh my word. Barrett arrived like a steam train at the back post. Couldn't keep his header down, but the pass by Ajaria was stupendous. Liverpool have gone more attacking and not really creating much for it. There is 1 minute plus, well, the added time of 5 minutes remaining. And just as I'm willing the highlights to cease, another one commences. The ball is in our possession, though. Barrett cutting inside. The man on a yellow card, the man who's been so good for us at various points this year, shoots, and that was a hospital pass of a shot, saved by the keeper. Look at this match momentum. Second half, we've looked way, way better. And whilst it wasn't the most convincing of results, we have managed to get a win there. And 7 points, I feel like, from the 3 games today is kind of an indicator of where we're at. Tottenham lost 2-0 to Man City. Arsenal could only draw. All of a sudden, Newcastle, who we beat 7-1 earlier in the year, seem like they might be our main rivals. Apparently, Kobe Mainoo deserves a new contract. I don't think he does. Can you sack your agent, please? Thank you, Kobe. Well, you know what? Going into today, I was a little nervous. And especially after we drew that opening game against Man United, I did start to worry a little. But that result there eases the nerves a little. We're pulling ahead at the top of the Premier League. That is going to allow me to shift gears and shift focus to the cup competitions we're in. Speaking of which, hopefully when we're back next episode, we're in the Carabao Cup final and maybe through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League too. Really, really appreciate the support on the streams and the videos as of late. Later on this evening, I'm going to be live on YouTube and Twitch with more of the Udinese save game. So if you caught that a couple of days ago and enjoyed it, should be going live around 6:30 UK time. Anyway, that wraps up all the wondrous content for this week. We will be back next week for more. Thank you for watching as always. It's me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.